When the call came, I was not surprised. She'd been failing for some time. She lay comatose in the bed, gaunt, hair gone, smile gone, a soft gurgling from her throat. My father refused to have her taken to hospice. He slept in the marriage bed as her breath rattled through her false teeth. As I sat on the floor, the phone felt like a brick in my hand. I felt guilt expand like a bolus of gas in my heart. I know I had failed her time and time again, many times. When I was that young fellow in the picture she kept on her night table, there were times I wished her dead. Dead, she would relieve our family of her repeated, violent, drunken outbursts. Relieve my father from carrying this belligerent, unconscious alcoholic upstairs to lay her softly in their common marriage bed. Yes, I wished her dead. Things changed after a time. She began to become more compactly stable. Anyway, I had left home. As you gain years, what was inexplicable becomes knowable, even forgivable. And then again, from my own life experiences and the mentoring of my masters, revealed to me those fundamental meanings embedded in the human experience. These same meanings had defeated her as they defeat so many others. Should it haunt me that I never went to say the final goodbye? I was expected to attend, but I have nothing to offer the dead. No need to reopen cauterized wounds and, well, maybe two. I have nothing to offer the living. You decide. I had taken the keys and wandered along the high-walled streets to the bay. Well, it was once the seaport where the China clippers unloaded tea and dried goods, and then it was transformed to accept lumber, cotton, and slaves. Then it's where mountains of coal to fuel the factories and the homes during the cruel New England winters was unloaded. And now it has been repurposed, made into a pleasant seaside nature park. That Sunday I remember the upper bay as placid, as if a sheet of lead had been draped over the water. The air thick with a cloying chill, and I wondered, was any life about this Christmas morning? Soon a small flotilla of insulated black ducks kicked away from the opposite shore to wander aimlessly about. Slowly, the star that gives us light and warmth peeked through the lead shrouds. Two large freighters were resting after their long haul from distant parts of the world. One had two intrepid cranes aloft inboard. The other was a long flatbed, with a bridge tower astern and outboard a beetle-shaped tug, nestled against its steel rump. Squads of disputatious seabirds arrived to glide along the currents to effortlessly display their unambiguous mastery of flight. I was the only human sentry aloft, though the evidence of human occupancy is everywhere. Huge, gleaming, circular fuel tanks like giant checkers lined the shore opposite. There were the water-weary freighters at rest, the sleepy tug in tow. The wooden barrier that separated land and sea, the elevated highway, and its asphalt offspring that ran off north and south upwind. I knew this to exhibit another form of mastery. This morning had much to show and name, if I carefully read between the lines. Yeah, oftentimes I lose a thread of a conversation midstream, as if it was in a canoe that had lost its paddles, and the swirling, twisting rapids tossed the fragile canoe hither and yon. As I said, I lost the thread only to regain it years later when it was much too late. Excuse, what? Huh? What do I do? What? Well, I guess at the best of times, I write. I write plays. Though I am uncomfortable saying playwright, GHT, or playwright, ITE. I prefer playmaker. Because you don't make them by yourself. It's not like a tropical fruit smoothie. What does that mean? The secrets? Every play has a small cemetery inside. The trick is to reveal it not all at once, but bit by bit. Now, why engage in this activity that is unfunded and where rejection is as plentiful as dark matter in the universe? I do need the filter of imaginary characters to explore my reactions to existence so that I'm not obvious or immediately visible. Successful? I'm more like Pluto, not acknowledged as a real planet, but another frozen fragment jettisoned by the turbulent birth of the sun and the solar system. Anyway, I every so often steal from another, like finding a diamond in a deep, dark mine. Once I wrote a play that was performed at a festival about war, those who waged it and its living victims. Now, I had no right to. After all, the Greeks had already taken it to perfection. But as a child, I always sat under the Formica kitchen table to spy on the elders as they played cards, some who had been. Guadalcanal and Anzio, the Battle of the Bulge, Okinawa, the North Sea run from Scotland to Murmansk, where if you lay a bare hand on the decking, it would freeze solid. And later, I listened to the schoolmates who had gone, gone, gone to Vietnam. So, I wrote a play. And I was shriveled in doubt until a friend who was a sniper in Vietnam came. He was very quiet throughout the play, motionless, maybe unforgiving. When it was over, he said nothing, winked, and left to go on his remaining journey. My cab took the turn off Jamaica Ave, where Tully's Tavern anchors the corner, and coast carefully down the tree-dimmed boulevard. There's no one on this stretch of secret sharers I would know anymore, no one who isn't dead. This is the act of a fool, touching the membrane of time to walk through it to his childhood. The house is much as it was years ago. I walked up to the porch with the iron black-coated railing still intact. I ran fingers along the bricks of the wall, along the side of the house, and for a moment I heard the sting of a red Spalding against their indifferent solidity. How much a past moment means to those who have nothing more. Down the street, the cab driver honked. She was. Not that there was. No, not that. Two at most. Strange to lose count. All those years when there was no one who. I suppose I did go on imagining that there would be someone who would care, that would trace her fingers softly along my spine as I slept, as if to stymie the demons that had gathered in my skull. But I was mistaken. I make so many mistakes. It was a 13-year gap between her to the next. The other. Bloody piece of work. Blind as a beetle. Can't believe I took it all seriously. 20 years on, she had the effrontery to invite me to her wedding. Long maceration, traditional fermentation, and aging in oak barracks were essential in the production of my response. I offer you my deepest condolences and wish for you only that the strange thing may never fail you, whatever it is that gives you the strength to live on and on and on as the queen of bullshit. Was it Sunday? That Sunday when the sun, like an obdurate lemon, rotating ever so slowly in the moist blue sky. I pried open the paper and saw the obituary that had a name I recognized. There wasn't enough detail to affirm it was. At this stage of the journey, I have left off expecting anything other. No. Even when I no longer had the overpowering urge to devote my life to someone, it never failed to collapse under the irrefutable pressure of indifference and cruelty. I have no interest in that domain now. So, now, another year passes. Another set of lives have disappeared, like feathers in a wind tunnel, and the same pain is lodged behind the eyes. I don't know who else thinks like this. I wonder, is she still alive? And did she get what she wanted from this life? All I ever wanted was to feel myself beloved on this famine and blood-soaked earth. But now, like a demented squirrel scurrying to find a buried life, I hold on to memories like an ancient insect frozen in amber. And I don't know if you are still alive. But if you are, do you ever think of me sometime?